He never expected this patrol to change everything. A dog hung from a tree, abandoned and dying. But when the officer rushed closer, the truth hit like a thunderbolt. This wasn't a stranger's pet. It was Rex, his loyal K9 partner, missing for 2 years and still fighting to live. Officer Daniel had driven this stretch of road countless times, but something unusual caught his eye that morning. At first, it looked like just another tree standing lonely against the endless horizon. But then, he saw movement. His pulse quickened. There, tied cruelly against the rough bark, was a German shepherd. The ropes dug deep into its body, suspending it halfway in the air as if left deliberately to suffer. The dog's chest heaved. Weakly, every breath a battle. Its once proud coat was dirty, its body scarred, and its eyes clouded with exhaustion and pain. That Daniel's stomach turned. Someone had done this on purpose. It wasn't just neglect, it was cruelty. For a moment, the officer stood frozen, unable to believe what he was seeing. Then, instinct took over. He sprinted toward the struggling animal. Daniel dropped to his knees, his hands trembling as he fumbled with the thick ropes. The dog let out a faint whimper, its body twitching with exhaustion, yet its eyes never left his. There was something in that gaze, a plea, a flicker of trust, as if it somehow knew. He was there to help. "Hang on, buddy. I've got you," Daniel whispered, his voice cracking. He tugged at the knots, cursing whoever had left the animal like this. Every loop of rope revealed more bruises, more wounds that spoke of unimaginable suffering. His heart hammered in. His chest, fury mixing with sorrow. For a fleeting second, he hesitated. Why did this feel so familiar? Why did this broken, battered dog feel like more than just another rescue? Daniel shook the thought aside. Right now, nothing mattered except saving its life. That as Daniel worked to free the animal, flashes of the past struck him like lightning. His breath caught, and suddenly he was no longer standing under the desert sun. He was back on that night, 2 years ago, when everything had gone wrong. The memory was sharp, etched into his soul. A high-speed chase had led him and his K9 partner deep into an abandoned warehouse district. The suspects were armed, dangerous, and desperate. He remembered the gunfire echoing, the chaos, the smoke filling the air. And then, the explosion. A wall collapsed, debris scattering everywhere. In the haze, he had called out frantically, shouting his partner's name, but the only answer was silence. Days turned into weeks. Search teams combed through the wreckage, but no sign of his K9 was ever found. Everyone told him to let go, to accept the loss. But Daniel never truly did. The guilt, the emptiness, it had haunted him every single day since. Now, staring at this battered dog, his chest tightened. Could it be? Daniel's hands shook as he loosened the final rope. The German shepherd slumped against him, too weak to stand. He gently lowered the dog to the ground, brushing dirt from its matted fur. That's when he saw it, just above the shoulder, a faint scar in the exact shape he remembered. His breath hitched. No, it couldn't be. But the longer he looked, the more impossible it was to deny. That scar had come from a training accident years ago, when his partner had leapt through shattered glass during a raid. Daniel had bandaged it himself, whispering encouragement as the pup licked his hand. Now, here it was again, clear as day. His chest tightened, and emotion surged through him like a flood. Rex. His voice cracked as the name escaped his lips. A name he hadn't dared to speak aloud in years. The dog's ears twitched. Its dull eyes flickered with the faintest spark of recognition. In that fragile moment, Daniel's world stopped. Against all odds, his missing K9 was alive. Daniel scooped Rex into his arms, the dog's body limp and frighteningly cold. His chest rose and fell shallowly, each breath sounding like it could be the last. Panic clawed at Daniel's throat, but he forced himself to stay steady. This wasn't just a rescue. It was a race against time. That he grabbed his radio. "Officer down. K9 in critical condition. I need emergency transport now." His voice cracked with urgency. Within moments, backup units sped toward his location, sirens wailing in the distance. Daniel pressed his hand gently against Rex's chest, whispering, "Stay with me, partner. Don't you dare give up." Rex whimpered weakly, his tail giving the faintest twitch. The sight nearly broke Daniel. The bond between them had been forged in years of loyalty and sacrifice. Losing him again was unthinkable. As the ambulance doors opened, Daniel carried Rex inside, his heart pounding. The fight wasn't over. Now, it was in the hands of time, medicine, and one dog's unyielding will to live. As Rex was rushed into the veterinary clinic, Daniel's mind refused to rest. Relief that his partner was alive mixed with a storm of anger. Who had tied him to that tree? Who had stolen 2 years of his life and left him to die in such cruelty? Detectives arrived at the scene, combing through the area for clues. The rope was thick, military grade, too deliberate to be random. Nearby, boot prints trailed off into the dust, disappearing into the horizon. This wasn't the act of a stranger, one investigator muttered. Someone knew what they were doing. Daniel clenched his fists. Deep down, he already suspected. 2 years ago, after the warehouse explosion, there had been whispers that criminals had taken Rex. At the time, there had been no proof, only rumors. But now, the evidence was undeniable. Still, the questions gnawed at him. Why keep Rex alive? Why bring him back now? The mystery had only begun. The days that followed were a blur of sleepless nights and anxious waiting. Daniel spent every spare moment at the veterinary clinic, sitting by Rex's side. Machines beeped softly in the background, each sound reminding him how fragile life could be. He stroked the dog's fur, whispering stories of old patrols, hoping his voice might pull Rex back. Then, one morning, it happened. Rex stirred, his body trembling as his eyes slowly blinked open. For a moment, Daniel thought he was dreaming. But when those tired eyes focused on him, something inside Daniel broke. A weak whine escaped Rex's throat, followed by the faintest wag of his tail. Tears blurred Daniel's vision. He leaned closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's me, partner. I'm here." Rex lifted his head slightly, pressing his nose against Daniel's hand, as if to say he remembered. The clinic staff stood in quiet awe. Against all odds, after 2 years of silence and suffering, man and dog were reunited. Weeks later, investigators uncovered the truth. Rex had indeed been stolen by a criminal gang, men Daniel had once helped put behind bars. Taking his canine partner had been their cruel revenge. But when their plans collapsed, they abandoned Rex, leaving him to die alone in the desert. Hearing this, Daniel's chest tightened with both fury and gratitude. His partner had endured unspeakable suffering, yet survived long enough to be found. Kneeling beside Rex, Daniel whispered, "Welcome home, partner. Never again will I let you go." The German shepherd leaned against him, eyes soft with trust. It wasn't just a reunion. It was proof of loyalty, resilience, and unbreakable bonds. Some partnerships are written in blood, sacrifice, and love. This one was eternal,